Hello everybody. So today we're going to be doing the Rail Rider. I think her name is Josie Oakley. So this is a chibi model from the Rail Riders Infinity board game. And this will be a little different just because I normally do my other models like a higher quality. This is actually my tabletop. So this is going to be a pretty fast paint. So she's not bad. She's going to be mostly just like wearing white clothing with a bit of red and black. She's very pale skinned. Okay. Also this weekend I'm going to be doing just like drop by streams, so I'll basically be just doing them whenever I feel like. There's no set schedule, and I'll be painting up something of my own, which is going to be my my bases, which is a little hard to see, but yeah. So I'm doing some just my own like called Demon World bases. So basically a bunch of like warped and twisted rocks with like weird things popping out. This, for example, let's see if we can change this a little bit. Whatever. This is basically a bunch of hands popping out. But I'll get more into that stuff this weekend. So just letting you guys know. Anyway, so here's this lady. So she's white clothing, pale skin, red black. Her hair though is quite interesting. It's purple at the top, and it's going to fade into like a teal. So it'll be kind of interesting to do. So I think we are going to start with the white. Most importantly, the white on her hat. Because the white in her hat, I'm going to do it differently from the rest of the white. The white in the hat, I'm going to do a two-brush blending, basically go from a white and shade it down to a gray. With the rest of her body, I'm going to go from a gray and shade it back up to a white. Just because of how the details work. It's such a fine little area. Because she's got white boots, white top, white hat. Her, let's see, and then her chaps, shorts things is red and black, basically. And she also got white gloves. It's kind of hard to see. And her gun is just black with blue glow. And she's got big blue eyes. Alright. Let's do a base coat of some more white. Let's get my water organized. Okay. So, good. Since this is a white, it has to be very important you do a nice thick coat. Or a very solid coat, not a thick coat. You can do multiple coats, especially for white. I prime white, but it still doesn't really show up that great, so always do multiple coats. Especially if you're doing two brush blending. It's hard to fix that. It doesn't matter so much for the bottom of the hat because I'm basically going to make that whole area just gray. Except for the fold, the flipped up here, it's going to be like a lighter gray and it's going to go into a dark gray. Okay. Here's the first base coat. And now I'm going to go and let's see. I'm also going to work on the gray on the rest of the clothing. This is going to be some great coat gray. A little bit of blue in there. It's always nice to have a little bit of color, so you don't want to have monochrome all the time. Steal some of the white. So I don't want the gray to be too dark. I'm just going to block in what is going to be white. Just so I know for later on. And figure out what is flesh and what is not. Okay, she's got white gloves here, and she's got white boots. So since this is going to be a tabletop quality, hoping to finish basically the entirety of this model in one sitting, so it's going to be fast. Fast and furious. And our bases is going to be a solid blue. Okay. What else is white on her? She had a white collar, white hat. Her arms are bare. Okay, and yeah, she's got a little bit of her shirt on her belly. Okay. I'm gonna go back and do another coat of white on the hat. Hopefully it's dry. You definitely see how much of the second coat, the difference the second coat does. Yeah, much better. I'm gonna have to do a third though, which is fine. I'll be working on the chest a little bit while waiting for the hat to dry. And I'm out of white. So it's just more white here. It's a very pure white. There's no real color to it. So I feel like it has a bit of hint of a blue to it. It's like a bluish white. Definitely not a cream color. Okay. I'm not going to worry too much about the under part of the hat, just because it's going to be like blocked out with gray. Those top parts are very important. Okay. And then I'm going to start just highlighting a little bit of the clothing around her, so just like a light gray. Basically a little bit of feathering, which I may clean up later. Just lots of little strokes. Little strokes help basically blend in the area, so it's not some big, solid, chunky line. I wish she's bare hand there. I have to go back and pick out the fingers individually. And then, as it's a chibi model, her legs, her feet are just little stumps. Nice and easy. Tiny little hands here. And the majority of this model, since it's chibi and it's also tabletop, I'm doing it with a size 4 brush. So, okay. Very big brush for the most part. But as long as the tip is good, you can do pretty much all the details you want. Okay. Just blocking that in there. Alright, how's my focus? Is it easy enough to see? Is it too blurry at the angle I'm doing? Or distance? Okay. She's a bit of a gold collar around her cleavage. Okay. And I'm going to lighten up the hand detail a bit. Okay. Okay, I think one more coat on the hat of pure white. Just making sure all the very flat, pretty much almost solid white areas have a good solid coat of white. Very important when you're doing a 2-brush. Okay, now I'm going to use pure white as a highlight for the rest of the white now. Just a little bit of feathering in there. I might have to go back with my gray coat gray and just do the details on the hands. Just do the in between the fingers, basically. Just a very thin coat of white. Okay. Get the knuckles here. Just make sure the knuckles have a nice solid base coat and a very thin transition. Once that's dry, I'm going to line up the whole area. I'm also going to pick out the edges, which is very important, especially in something cartoony like this. And make sure the edges have a bit of a pop to them, because this is like a miniature from like a board game, so the detail's a little soft. Just gonna make sure it's got some pop to it. I forgot a belly, which is mostly shaded by her cleavage, so no, not to worry too much. Okay, I'll light up the whole area a bit. And I'm gonna light it this since it's dry. Just gonna do a few thin layers of white just to make it brighter. There we go. It'll look much better once I get the rest of the colors, and it'll actually start looking like white. Alright, now the top layer I think is ready to go. So I'm going to do a nice, very light gray, mix of gray coat gray and more white. I'm going to get a second brush out for this one, and this will help me. So I'm basically making sure that second brush is clean but also damp. So you don't want the paint. You never want to put a dry brush into paint. That's how you basically ruin a paintbrush right away. It'll basically start curing immediately once it touches that dry brush, or pretty much any wet surface really. Alright, so let's start with the top part here. Right, let's try some mixed medium on this. This will help a bit. So I was talking to Soshi yesterday from Soshi's Minis, and she was suggesting taking some water and some mixing medium and just a little bit, and just wetting the whole area so you have more time to play with. So I'm just going to try this out. It's especially good for doing two-brush blending. So the longer the playtime, the better, right? So I'm just going to wet the whole area down. The mixing medium will slow down the drying time of the water. So let's try that out. Try the other side. And then just blend it. No, that's not bad. Yeah, it works pretty good actually. Okay. But unfortunately the miniature quality, it's not exactly a smooth model up there, so it kind of brings out a little bit of the chunkiness of the actual model itself. So just be aware of that, and have to go back and give it a bit of blend. Hide that chunkiness. Okay. Let's go back and use some more of that watered down mixed medium. Just refresh the top part. And then, since the hat is kind of angled forward a bit, I'm going to make that part the darkest and bring it out. Just put a pool of paint in there and just slowly tease it out. There we go. Working like a charm. And I'm just going to block out the little trench there, I guess. I don't actually know what that's called, part of the hat. Also good to remove any kind of dust particles on white, because the white really brings out the dust particles. It's like a black little hair. Alright, I'm going to do the brim now. start at the darkest area, and I'm just gonna take my clean brush and just move it around and bring it to the areas where I want it to be lighter. And give you the nice little gradient. Working pretty good. But for like most things, you'll never be able to do it in one coat. You have to go back and do a second one. Even at tabletop quality. Just an extra blend won't take that long. Normally, it's always the first blend always takes the longest because you're doing the majority of it. So that's not too bad. Alright, now I'm just going to do a solid base coat of this gray along the bottom, and then blend it up to the curved area. There we go. And you never want to shade white to a very dark color. White catches and reflects all lights, all colors, so it's never that dark. Okay. Though unfortunately the mixing medium will make it longer to cure, so then I can't really work on it for a while, which is fine. I can work on other things. So maybe we'll start working on. I think her skin actually. She's got very little skin, just her face. I think she has a bit of cleavage. Oh, in her arm. Yeah, she'll be fine.
Does she have some on her legs too?
No, I don't think she has any on her legs actually. She's got like short shorts, and then she's got like some chaps, and then it's just like red short shorts, black chaps, and from what I can see, there's no flesh at all. I think it's like a blackish, brownish leather on her legs. And she's got like, oh, she's blowing out the smoke on her gun. That's why her lips are a little off center like that. Alright, so for the flesh, I'm gonna start with Midland flesh. And I'm gonna do just layering for this part. So I'm gonna block it out with nice Midland, and I'm gonna start highlighting it. Okay. I try and normally do the flesh last, because it's one of the hardest things to fix if you ever overpaint. But there's so little of it, I might just get away with it. And it's also like a very like solid model. It's not like too many details because it's chibi, so it shouldn't be that hard because it's not a very complex one. Yeah, I can't tell. Is that flesh or is something else in there? Because she's got like a little bow tie in her cleavage, and it's a little soft. So after done the flesh, I might go back over and figure out where the bow tie is. I think I actually know where it is. Just the very bottom, covering up her cleavage area. Okay. So, okay. I think it's time to go back to the gray. For the most part, it's dried up, except for the rim part. So, I'm not gonna use the mixing medium trick because it's just like a blocking out shade. So just want to block out all the shadowed areas, so it's not going too far. There we go. And then if I really want to, I may go back with a white. A little bit of dust particle there. Gotta make sure it doesn't stay. Otherwise it'll be really hard to get rid of. because it's like a raised surface with a dust particle, and so it's like you can't really just take a paintbrush and dab some like white paint over it. You like basically pool around it, and also retain the dark like raised area. So it's really hard to get rid of. Just don't let it happen in the first place. Is my advice. Okay, that's pretty good. So I'm just going to touch up the flesh a little bit. Make sure it's a nice solid coat. There we go. She's very pale, so this is pretty much the darkest I'm going to put anywhere on her, because this is midland flesh. I would normally have gone for like a Cardic flesh. Ooh, bubble in her eye. There we go. But it's a little too dark. She's very pale. She had like a pale yellowy skin. Okay. So let's work on some red. So I'm going to go for, this is Sanguine Highlight. It's a bit of a pinkish red. And I'm going to maybe darken it just with a touch of Sanguine Base. It's a more deeper, less pinky tone. Okay, so she's got, her hat is got red little, I don't know what it's called, band around it. But the hat's also got like a weird dark, like almost like cow pattern on it. So I'll have to do that as well, I guess. So I'm going to do the cow pattern, and then I'm going to give a very light shade over all of it. Okay. Be very careful with that, blocking in the colors, just because the white is hard to fix. So just make sure you don't overpaint. Make sure you have a nice smooth border. There we go. Okay. Oh, a little bit overpaint there, but if I can just smooth it out, it's fine. I'll make it work. There we go. Yeah, she's getting there. Alright, and then she's got her little hot pants or something. And she's got a brown belt, which I'm not going to worry about just yet. She also has a gun holster, which I'll probably make brown as well. Okay. I think that's part of her hard pants. I don't know. I'm just winging it at that point. It's such a, there's no art for the back of her model, since it's just mostly hair. So I think that's part of her shorts. It's a little hard to tell when it's so soft like this. Okay. And I'm just gonna make sure I get a nice solid color on the hat. Because it's a very dark red, when it's primed white, it gets a little, oh, what's the word for that? Stripey, I guess? Okay. So the way I'm going to shade the pants is going to be different from the way I shade the band around her hat. Because I'm going to do the black little cow bits, and then I'm going to shade it up. So I can't do like a red highlight over the black. So I'm basically going to do like a white overall. Actually a cream kind of color, because why not? However, with the shorts, I'm just going to do a highlight with a red, pink, whatever she's got. Let's see. Take some sanguine highlight. And since it actually doesn't have a great coverage, I'm going to add some white right away to for the next highlight. I find the white has got great coverage, but some of the other colors not so great. I'm going to pick out the folds in her little hot pants and the groin, just to pick it out a bit more. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about too much about her, but there isn't really much there to highlight because it's all shadowed by her massive hair. Okay. The old chibi models have like massive hair. Okay. Nope, a little bit overpainting there. Just gonna bring that down a bit. Okay. And then the belt between the pants and the hot pants. Do a quick little coat again, make sure it's solid. And I'm going to take, I don't think I'm going to take a pure black, I'm going to take like a reddish black for the cow. So I'm just going to add black to this red concoction I have. This is a summer black. It's also a private press color. And I'm just going to just do some little bit of cow. So let's see. Little happy little clouds, it looks like. Little wavy little things. They kind of alternate between the top and the bottom, so I'm just going to do that. Okay, make it nice and smooth and round. And still retain some of that red I've got. A little cloud there. Okay. Nothing too fancy, but make sure the black goes all the way to the ground. Alright. So now I'm just gonna do a little bit of a creamy shade. Oops, dropped the paint. Ow. Pull my neck muscle there. Don't do that. And they said streaming was easy. Pull the muscle. Okay. Let's find a nice clean area. So here I'm just going to take some watered down mixed medium and just apply it to the surface. Just do a very thin amount. And this will give me more playtime because I'm going to do very thin amounts and I don't want to have any kind of like bathtub effect where it kind of dries along the edge first and you have this really solid line of paint, which is not what you want. Okay, so I'm doing very thin, get some saliva in there because saliva is a great mixing medium. And I'm just going to apply it to the top, kind of bring it down. Let's give it a little bit of a highlight. Let's see. And you don't want to go too far into the base because you want to keep the topmost band dark to give it some depth. Okay, I'm also going to make this part a little brighter, all the way down to the base almost. Okay. I'll have to go back and fix some of that part. Same with this part right here. Because it's the most exposed, because this kind of bands kind of like hide the light. But this part's right here is the most exposed. It will blow to hasten the paint drying. Another little. Make sure you get a nice smooth blend. Okay. Nothing too fancy. You don't want to go too high because it starts obscuring the detail. Okay. So that's basically the hat's done. I might go back with a little bit of pure white to touch up some ends. Okay, let's do the flesh now. So I'm going to highlight the flesh with Caspian flesh. It's very pink. However, flesh is kind of pale slash yellowy, so I'm going to add a bit of Moro white? Moro white base? Yeah, Moro white base. There we go. Adds a bit of yellow to it. It's the same kind of like highlight and brightness as the excuse me, same kind of brightness as the Caspian flesh, so it kind of works well together. If you can see that in my palette. Alright, that looks great. I really like that. Okay. I'm not too sure I'm going to do the lips, or whatever that little hole is. I have to do it red, I think. Okay. So I'm going to, once I've done this, I'm going to go and highlight with add some bit of white to this combination. But I make sure it's all blocked out nicely. She's much paler than this on the art. There we go. Alright. Get a nice batch of pure white Moro white. So if you think all my other white on the palette's been compromised. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Make sure her nose area, this little nubby area, is brighter than the rest. Kind of just spread out from the nose, but the problem is I gotta wait for it to dry a bit. A little bit of highlighting her cleavage because I think that's flesh. I'm not 100% such. It's very soft right there, so kind of just a little blobby. Alright, it should be dried. Now I'm just gonna raise up most of this area. That's not too bad. Okay. So she got weird gold. I might just make it brown, the trim on her cleavage. But I think that's fine. I might do a little bit of more pure white, just do the tip of the nose, just to give it a little bit of a, just to get a bit more of a focal point. Kind of a little too thin and it kind of pulled away from the nose. I'll go back and fix that probably. Okay, let's do her lips. Her lips are kind of, yeah, let's make them the same color as her belt. They're kind of pink. It's not really a lips, it's just basically a pink hole based on the concept art. So I'm just gonna try and do something like that. Okay. Nothing fancy. Okay. Let's go back to that nose thing that I tried to do and just one more little bit of feathering. A little light layer. Okay. So, let's work on the hair. Let's do the purple first. This is the majority of it. And then I was going to just get my teal out. This is, okay, so that was, I think it's called beaten purple. And I'm taking the Eldritch, which is like a teal, grainy teal. And I'm just going to apply it to a semi-clean area. Alright. Let's do a base coat of purple. So this is a very pale purple. So I'm going to add some more white base to it. So kind of desaturate it and brighten it up a bit. Just kind of what you want. You want like a lighter color when you're doing a, if you've primed white. There we go. Now just a little bit of shading. Just make sure you don't do a harsh X or endpoint for your purple because you're blending it into the green there. Just be careful of that. Okay. Yeah, you can see a bit of bathtub effect right there. Or I left it too long. Okay. Very careful with flesh. Oh, I missed her ear. I didn't paint her ear. Let's go back and do that. That's okay. I also had to fix up her mouth a bit. I kind of overpainted, so it's not a huge deal. Just can't overpaint on her arm, for example, or her face. You don't want to do that. You also don't want to underpaint either. It's a very fine line. Okay. And taper it off. Bit of a gradient right there, because that's going to be going into teal. Okay. Gotta make sure I get a nice solid base coat of that. But I also gotta make sure I got all my purple areas covered, because I didn't do the inside of her hair on this side. A little harder to reach though. Okay. The gun is doing no favors right now. It's a very hard angle to get to. Okay. Oh, I forgot she actually has bare arms, so I missed a part of her arm over here too. Oh well. I think the rest of her hair is actually dried, so I'm gonna go and just give it a nice solid base. Okay. Make sure when you're doing this kind of transition here, there's no solid border, right? You want to give it always smooth transition between the two colors. It really, really helps, I gotta say. Okay. It's not too shabby, especially for about 40 minutes so far. Okay. So, oh, wow. I don't know how I did that. Gave her a purple. Okay. Let's do the rest of her flesh before I forget. And I'll try and fix that giant blep I gave on her cheek. Okay. And I think this is just all flesh. tiny amount of flesh here. Okay, so let's just do some Caspian flesh. Just try and block out that bleb. Okay. Good thing it's on the far side where it's harder to see. Okay. Tiny bit of highlighting, not too much because it's shadowed by the hair. Okay. Give it a bit of blow just so it dries a little faster. And then we're going to do another coat of Mouth White and Caspian. A little blep I missed. That's unfortunate. Such a smooth paint job. Alright, let's also fix the lip too. Again, I gave her like a lipstick smear. Not cute. But it really is just like a little round circle for her mouth. And then her eyes are just basically black. Maybe let's do like some of the... Yeah, let's work on the face. Oh, the hair is drying a bit. Okay. It's not too sharp of a detail, so I'm just going to use my number 4 brush still. And she doesn't have like eye makeup, so she just has like black eyeliner. So there's no like nothing to really shade. Big old black eyebrow. Gotta be really careful with this. But she only has like one eyebrow, which is interesting. I guess her, because she's blinking, it makes her one eyebrow a little lower. And I may give her a bit of a eyelash at the end, a little couple stray ones, help make it feminine. Okay. Let's see. I might go back with some Cardic flesh and just darken up the little ring around her eye. Alright, this part. So she just has the top eyelashes dark. The rest of it is just white with her pupil in there. Alright, I'm actually going to use a much finer brush for the eyelashes. A few strands. They're kind of escaping. Alright, so let's go... Actually, no. Before I do that, let me darken and define the actual eye. Kind of important. So this is Cardic flesh. It's a brownier version of Midland. Less pink. Okay, so I'm just gonna... And the concept art is actually not very defined at all. It's just very flat. The face. So this will help give it some more character, I guess. My stomach is currently making whale noises. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but... Okay. Yeah, it's not too bad. I might take some of this and just in the eyelid. Give it a little bit of depth. Okay. Now we're going to do the stray eyelashes. Just not one end. Gotta find a good angle for my eyes and my brush. And that angle did not work at all. Try it again. Oh, thanks, Q-Smash. Hey there, how you doing? How's your night been? Okay. And I'm just going to do a little bit on this. It helps her give it a nice feminine face. You don't want to make her eyelashes too thick. But in the concept art, it's pretty thick. Okay. There we go. A little sassier. Okay, let's take some of this more white and just want to block out her eye. It goes right, yeah, it goes right to the eyelash. Sometimes it's hard to tell where the eye ends. Depends on the style of the miniature. Well, that's good. Having a decent night. Come watch some painting with me. You a big fan of chibi models or board games? Have you played Rail Riders or Rail Raiders? Oh, cool. Welcome to the hobby. It's a great way to waste time. I like it because you actually get something at the end of your night. You can play video games all day and you get really nothing for it besides some experiences. Here you actually get a, oh hey Norgak. How you doing? Like I was saying, this hobby is great because you can basically look back and see all your stuff you've been working on for the last while. So it's kind of rewarding that way. Okay. Oh, a little bit of overpaint there. Let's see. Okay, while that's drying, that's cool. You've seen my work before, I guess, on other my like Facebook or Instagram, I guess. I've been wanting to do my stream for a while, just haven't got a proper setup. Excuse me. Alright, so let's do some shading on the hair. Let's go back to my number 4 brush and just find a clean spot on my palette. Just give her some streaks. Just in the shadow areas. And block out that areas where it's really shadowed. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I'm not going to Attack X to play this year. I'm just there to vend this year.
And sagebrush.
Oh yeah, I'm also judging the sagebrush, by the way. So if you guys are in lower mainland of basically anywhere in BC or even was it Washington? Yeah, in Washington, come down, play some Attack X. I know the guys that host it, Nathan Boza and stuff. They're great guys. They host a lot of games. X-Wing, all the Warhammers, War Machine. What else do they have? Malifaux, Guild Ball, a lot of Guild Ball. I think they had the regionals for Guild Ball actually. So yeah, and I'll be judging the painting, and we'll be having pins again this year. So come down, get some pins, and then every entry will give you a chance to win some great prizes. So it's not just the winners. The top of each category does get something, but also every entry gives you a ticket to win something else. We had lots of great prizes last year, a lot of busts, a lot of paints. So great for any kind of hobbyist. Okay. So I'm just trying to basically a bit of speed paint. She's just like my lowest quality, so I'm just gonna, which is tabletop. So I'm just gonna try and do her in my 2-hour limit. I'm basically around 50 minutes so far in this lady, so you guys are just checking in. This is what I've got so far. Also, her hair at the bottom's turning into like a teal color. Okay. Oh yeah, Flames War. I always forget about those historical games. That's cool. How'd you do last year at, did you play War Machine? Last year, Norgak? I did poorly. I lost my first game. I did lose against the guy who eventually won it, I think. What's his face again? Oh, what's his name? What's his name again? The guy, the gray-haired guy?
Greg?
Greg. Yeah. I think he always wins. Except that 1 year I beat him, but that was many a year ago. Oh, did I touch her face again? Oh. Oh, that stupid angle's hard to... Oh, well. Mainly hidden by that gun, so it's not too bad. Oh, cool. I still haven't figured out who you are, so... Sorry. I'm very terrible with names. Every time I go to any kind of convention, I'm like, hey, guys. They know me by name, and I don't know them by name at all. It's a very terrible habit. Okay, let's do a little bit of highlighting now on that hair. Just in the raised areas.
Oh, I know who this is.
Oh yeah, I can't put a name to that. But yeah, no, I think I know exactly who you are. That's cool. Okay, so we're doing Mammoth White, base, and a little bit of that beaten purple. And I'm just gonna do some, let's see how, yeah. Just do a little bit of streaks. Just kind of going with the flow of the hair, so it adds a bit of texture. Okay. 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 There we go. Not too bad. Let's see. Okay, let's start doing some teal before it dries out my palette. Okay, this it's actually a pretty pale teal, so I'm also gonna add the Mammoth White to it, just to lighten it up a bit. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna use the pure Eldritch teal color to do some shading on it. Okay. Mammoth White's one of my preferred colors to basically mix into colors to brighten it up. You don't want to use a pure white. It always looks a little off. So this really helps. Okay. Are you running anything this year? Norgak, sorry. Okay. Gotta figure out what is hair and what's other things on her around her booty. Because that's a little bit of hair, I think. Oh yeah, I stopped playing Malifaux for a while. Is the new edition coming out soon? Because I really want to try the new edition. Because if they streamlined it, then yeah, it sounds like a. They've had, I don't know. I don't like the fact they killed off Nicodem. He's my favorite guy. But streamlining the rules is a very much needed thing. Because it's got a little too chunky, you might say. Just a lot of useless rules. Okay.
Same keyword, 7 different things.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Oh yeah, there's also hair down here. Okay. Okay.
Probably Gen Con.
Maybe Gen Con for the official rules of the next edition of Malifaux? I'm not going this year. Maybe next year, but it all depends. Okay. Running it on Memorial White. Okay. Gotta make sure it's got a nice solid transition. You don't want to make it too chunky. It's a very delicate area. You're doing transitions of different colors. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. It kind of hurts the turnout too if you have like addition change right before a tournament and it's not playing the new rules. That's the unfortunate thing about new editions. It always suffers, even though it's badly needed sometimes. Alright, wait for that to dry. Yeah, I don't know about playing. I might just do a little bit of the fun stuff, but I'm definitely going to go enter for lock and load. I like to win a couple entries, or a couple categories every year. Alright, so we're going to work on the eye now. If I have any room on my palette. So it's got a bluish eye. Please Moral White for this. So let's make it a little darker, and I'm going to highlight it up. Gotta be very careful with this part. So she's kind of looking not that centered. And she also has a huge pupil, so I'm just gonna. There we go. Close enough. Okay. She doesn't actually have an iris, or what's that? Okay, what's the dot in your eye again? Is that the iris? Because that's right, the pupil. Pupil is the dot. The iris is the muscle that contracts and gets bigger and smaller and makes the pupil bigger or smaller. Okay, so I'm going to start working on the iris. I'm just going to make it a little brighter. And she has a bit of a darker blue border around her eye, so I'm just going to lighten this up a bit. Okay. My favorite mini. I don't know. I did some Gene Cult models a little while ago, and those guys are really fun to paint. Since I've been wanting to paint some nice looking Gene miniatures, Gene Cult miniatures for like almost 2 decades since I was a teenager. When I got the first Tyranid Codex when I had Gene Cult in that. And I wanted to paint them. I mean, they were terrible models. And I actually did get a couple, and they were terrible paint jobs. I was a terrible painter back in the day. Oh, Thanks. Thanks for the follow. Let's see now. Rainer76. Thank you so much.
72.
What did I say?
6.
76. Alright, sorry. I play Fallout 76, so I might have got that confused. It's a good game, by the way. Don't listen to the haters. Okay. Maybe just a pure white, if I have any enough. Hey, how's it going, Rainer? Okay. Just give it a little more of a dot. And then I'm going to take some of this pure blue, or pure exile blue, and just shade a bit of the top part. Oh, there you go. I'm going to take some black once that's dry. Even if it's actually not dry, let me blow on it first to dry it out. I'm going to wet the area. And take some mixing medium, wet the area, and then apply some black, so I have more time to play with it. So a bit of water and mixing medium, apply it to the area, and then I'm going to apply some black. And then I'm going to push the pigment around. This will give me more time. Also, kind of... Oh, that's not the brush. Here we go. But I don't want it too pure black, so I want it to kind of blend into the actual eyelash itself. How's that looking? And then she's got this massive white speck, which I guess I'll do. Gotta make sure it dries first, because I want that white speck to bleed. I want it to be nice and solid. So it basically almost touches the edge right here. Almost goes into the rest of the white of her pupil, but it doesn't. There we go. How's that look? I really want to give her a border between her eye. Thanks. Thanks, Rainier. I want to give her a border between the white of her eye and her flesh, but there's not in the concept art, but I should do that. So I'm going to go and take some my Cardic flesh here and just give it a little bit of a dark flesh ring. And try not to screw it up, because I should have done this before I did any of the white. Because I really don't like the nice little border. Yeah, I like that much better. I think I did a little too much on this one corner here, so I'm going to take some of my Midland flesh and just thin it out a bit. There we go. I also think I did my white not solid enough, so I'm just going back and just touch up this white right here. Oh, overpainted a bit. No. There we go. Yeah, she's fine. I like that. Okay, so now let's go back to the hair. Take some of this solid Eldritch tealy color. And just do some of the... Okay. Unfortunately, that teal is too light, so I'm going to add some Exile Blue to it to darken it up. If I was being really fancy, I would probably take Coal Black to darken it, because it's a nice dark teal color, but I don't have it out. And I'm too lazy to get it out. So a dark blue like Exile Blue is just fine. If you're feeling lazy and you already have it out. Okay. Why am I making hold your breath? Is it... Okay. Was the eye too delicate for you? Okay. Let's just darken up that. Can't forget about the rest of her teal areas. Now I've run out of teal. Oh, yeah. Just like sniping. Gotta hold your breath. Exile Blue. just going to darken up pretty much all the underbelly of her hair because it should be dark. Because there's no light down there. Okay. Good enough. And then, okay. Oh. Okay. I'm just going to do a little bit of streakiness right around here just to give it a little more texture. And now I'm going to take some more of this Eldritch and Menoth White base, and I'm just going to add some highlights. Just like I did with the purple, I'm just going to make it streaks. I'm going to blend it in. I'm just going to do a little thin layer of, just do a little couple. Just on the edges. Maybe paint on screen is fine. Alright. Just in the very extreme edges. And then once I've done all the extreme edges, I can see if I want to add more streaks to it. Where the light's hitting the all the hair follicles. Any kind of extra detail you can add is always good. But you can't make it, you don't want to add too much detail because it might really make it a little bit busy. It's always a bit of a fine line. How does that look? It's not great, but I'm also only doing this in 2 hours, so I've got an hour and I've got about 50 minutes left, really. So, but she's not too bad looking. Okay, let's do her belt. She's got a brown belt. She's got like around her cleavage. She has like a bit of a brown area. So let's find a decent brown that I want. Here we go. This is going to be bootstrap leather. Okay, actually, I'm basically done with all these colors. So I'm just going to remove my palette and get a new sheet out. Okay. Got some handy ones already pre-done. Just some parchment paper. Let's get into frame. There we go. Into frame now. Okay. So how's you guys' nights going? Enjoying some streaming? You guys big fans of chibi painting? Or just hobby in general? Okay. So she's got this little cleavage area, which I want to pick out. And she also has like a leatherish kind of like strap around her cleavage, which is like right there. And a gem. So hopefully I haven't destroyed that. Okay, and then her belt. Oh yeah, she has a big blue gem on her belt. Probably should have done that at the same time as her eye because it's the same color, but oh well, I forgot. And she has a gun holster here. I'll make it brown. Doesn't actually show what it says on the concept art, but basically her whole lower half is basically hidden, so I'm just basically making this part up whenever I feel like it. Okay. And she has a whip. I think it's a black whip actually, so I'm just gonna make it black. I'm gonna block it out with black and then a little bit of layering to highlight it. Okay. Her she got some like dark like chaps below her booty shorts. So I'm gonna block that in right now. Just do some layering to get. Her gun is also black. I should do that too right now. Okay, without destroying her fingers, because her fingers are tiny and very soft. Detail around her fingers are soft. Okay. She's looking a little better now since the white's disappearing. I need more black. Okay. I always put too little paint on my palette. That's my biggest problem. I think the chamber in her gun is like a brown color, so I'm gonna do that. Use the same brown. But since it's like a metallic brown, like a brass, I'm just gonna give it like an extreme highlighting. So it's gonna go from like a darkish brown to like a very white. Make it look different from the rest of the brown on her. Okay. And can't. Oh man, this is such a delicate spot right here. I don't want to start messing up the finished spots. Okay. Let's see. Where is her finger? Is that her finger? No. Where is her finger? No, I'll just black the whole thing in. It's fine. Chanel missing a finger. I really don't want to get any black on her chin. How to destroy that? It's so hard to fix. Okay. Well, hopefully that's not ruined. So anyway, let's work on some of that brown. I'm gonna keep on using my Menoth white base to highlight the brown. Actually, before I do that, let me block out the chamber. Is there actually anything else? No, I think it's the only thing that's not black on the gun. Chamber. Oh, okay, the black is still not dry yet. Don't do this at home, kids. Okay. So, okay, working on the brown. My favorite number 4 brush. Okay. And then she has I guess a brown kind of choker thing. And let's just do this belt. And she has a stupid blue diamond. The belt's a little too chalky right now, so I'm going to bring back some of that saturation by taking some of that straight bootstrap brown and just shading it back in. Okay. Gonna take some Umbral Umber for her chaps. Kind of like a purplish, very subtle purple on dark brown. So you don't use a similar color brown. There we go. Okay. But I will be using the same Menoth white base to highlight it. It's one of my favorite colors for brown to highlight. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to do her gun. No. I forgot to highlight her her holster right there. I know I was missing something. I got 45 minutes left. I think I'll be fine. Let's see. I think this is brown as well. It's a little hard to tell. It's so tiny and it's so soft, the detail, so sometimes you gotta make it up as you go along. Okay. Okay. She's getting there. I'm gonna have to go back and basically start defining some of the borders around her white areas. But that's okay. Let's work on that gun and that holster right now. I'm gonna add in like the chamber kind of details. Because it's a 6-shooter, I think, because it's like a Western style, so assuming everybody in that kind of theme has 6-shooters, right? Okay. Alright, so it's more mouth white. And let's just do this chamber. So mostly in the bottom area, but then I'm also going to do just some of the edges. Just to give it a little more depth. A little bit edge highlighting. It's always good for that kind of non-metallic look, which I think chibi really help. It really helps chibi when you do non-metallic look. Okay. It's very cartoony, and I find most non-metallics, unless you do like very like rough, kind of scratchy metal, most non-metallics look kind of cartoony to me. So I like non-metallics look great on this kind of stuff. Okay. A little bit of a cleavage trim here. Same brown. Okay. I'm just gonna darken this a little bit over here. A little too much. No, it's fine over here. Take some umbro here and just define that strap. Let's get a nice darker border. Okay. And then she's got some of this. She's got little, I guess on her booty shorts, she's got some of that red straps on her belt. So I'm just going to define that right now. Okay. And take some mouth white and just, highlight just on the tips. Very tippy tops of that. Belt straps. It looks a little muddy. I'm going to take this umber and just define that whole area. Give it a bit of a border. Fine borders really help clear up muddy things. And there we go. Maybe a little bit on the undercarriage too. I still have to make that gem blue. Maybe it's one of the last things I do. Okay. Get some more mouth white out because I always put too little in my palette. Add some umber and start going to town on that chap area. Alright, so a little too light. Let's darken it a bit. I think it's like I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a lot of Western outfits have like those tassels, I guess they're called. Shit, got a tassel region down here. I think it's tassels. I'm not 100%. They probably have a better name than tassels. Okay. And just the straight. And then more tassels down here. Very classic, you know, like kind of Disney kind of Western look. Family friendly. Okay. I might go and define some of this area a little better with black or a very dark brown. I think that'll help that out a bit. Okay. A little more mouth white, just in the very tips, just to give it a little bit of pop. Yeah, it's a little too bright. Let's try. There we go. I think that's fine. Maybe I won't add any black. Might be too much contrast. I may have put a little bit of black on her almost recessed parts just to give it some more depth. Just in the very bottom. And this is my number 4 brush, just in case people are wondering. As long as the tip is good, doesn't matter with the size. Okay. Though it is unfortunate, it's a synthetic brush, so it's kind of getting a little bit of hook to it, which is not bad actually. I don't mind a little bit of a hook. It helps in some situations. Okay. How's that looking? Kind of cute? Okay, let's black out the gem area. Give it a nice border. And then just go a little bit in her crotch area just to give it some more depth. And then her butt area. Because that hair is not giving any much light. Hair darkens everything back there. And then let's do some dark brown here. Because I actually have no idea what that would be. Okay. Excuse me. Well, let's waiting for that to dry. Let's do some gun. So I'm gonna use a Great Coat Gray for this. Just some straight Great Coat Gray, just for the initial edges of the gun. And then I'll probably use some more white. It's a little hard to tell the detail, I gotta say. A little soft. Okay. It's important to pick out those edges on metallic objects, because they always catch the light. Maybe give it a bit of a, let's see, yeah, whatever. Give it a bit of a light. There we go. Light streaks, whatever they're called. I'm gonna use more white. Yeah, I mainly use P3. They're non-toxic, as you can tell. I lick my brush a lot, and so if I'm ingesting non-P3 paints, I might get sick. But P3 paints are very good. They're guaranteed non-toxic, so I mean, you're not supposed to ingest them, but like they recommend it for two-brush blending, which is what I do a lot. So I trust them to be more non-toxic than most other paints who say they're non-toxic, but these things are like to a higher standard. Alright, I'm also going to use this opportunity to use this light gray to fix up any kind of white spots I've ruined on my white areas. Two birds with one stone. Alright. P3 is a good company. They make quality games and quality hobby products. I highly recommend them. Okay. These weird Nurgle looking area. Like 3 little dots. Okay, that's good enough for a black looking gun. Yeah, unfortunately, like last 6 months or so, of what I've found, at least in my store, is that P3 has not been in stock at all. Really, they've had supply problems to Canada at the very least. So, I mean, you're what in northern BC? I guess this would be area. So you probably have the same problem. It's unfortunate because I really like this stuff. Yeah, Prince George. Well, I thought Prince George was actually in the water, but I was told I was very wrong. I was confusing with some other prince. Prince Rupert, sorry. Okay, I think the gem, let's guess, the gem is, let's make a different color, let's make it a bright blue, instead of her eyes, which are kind of a pale, unsaturated blue. Let's make that gem ridiculous. Very cartoony. Okay. Gonna make some more white. Just do a little bit of a. And take a nice dot of pure moral white and just do a little speck. And then when that goes, just kind of blend it. I'm actually gonna take some white, or sorry, some water, or actually in this case saliva, and I'm gonna brush my spit all over the gem, and then I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna put a little bit over it. And since the area is a bit wet, I have more time to play. And saliva is a great medium, so I'm just gonna kind of give myself a bit more lighter color there. Yes, and then I'm gonna take let it dry, do the same thing. Actually, I'm using mixing medium this time. It's got even longer play time than my saliva. So a bit of water, a bit of mixing medium, mix it together and apply it to the region. And take some pure Signar blue highlight and just go back over it. There we go. Now take some of this black and do a little bit of water and just do there. And there's a fancy little gem on her belly. Go back, take some white, and add some more pure white specks. I basically did the whites, like the blue, very pale blue, and then went back with the Signar just to resaturate it. Because if you add white to any kind of color, it desaturates it. It will brighten it for the most part if you're adding a light color to it, but desaturates it. So that's why I went back over it with the base color. Keep the saturation up. Okay, 2 little specks on the bottom and then a big speck on the top. The big white speck will go where the darker area is. There we go. How's that looking? This is probably a little overboard for like a tabletop miniature, but I've still got half an hour left. Alright, let's work on the whip. Whip is a gray. I should have done the whip at the same time and did the gun, but I forgot. So, just gonna give it some texture because it's very soft otherwise. Take some of this more white, a little bit of gray. And I'm just gonna work on the parts that have the most light touching them. Okay, let's see now. Okay, she has a bit of a collar. She has a. I'm gonna darken this the edge right there. There we go. I like that a lot better now. Although I did mess up a bit and get a little bit of dark spot where it shouldn't be. Okay. Good enough. I'm gonna take some of this Cardic flesh and just work on her like under jaw area a bit. Just give it a bit of a shadowy area, especially where her collar is. I kind of overpainted that gray bit. Just make sure you don't leave a hard edge. Never want to leave a hard edge on fleshy areas, because there's no hard edges on flesh. Even on muscles, there's always a bit of a curve. Okay. So, let's see now. I guess it's time for the smoke, which is just a light gray. Okay, let's just do it pure white first. Nice base coat of pure white, mouth white, or more white, sorry. And then I'm gonna not use Great Coat Gray because it's got a bit of blue. And I use that same blue or the gray for all the white, so I'm gonna just change it up a little bit so it looks a little different. I'm gonna use the next gray I find. Okay, and it's gonna be Crick Spain highlight. It's got a bit of a green to it, which is fine. I wait for that to dry first. So what can I touch up? Got some white here, so I'm going to touch up some white areas. Oh, her fingers, I overpainted on her fingers, so I'm going to just make them pop a bit more. Oh yeah, her fingers here. I also overpainted on this area, so give her a trigger finger. She's a bad trigger discipline, I think it's called, when you have your finger on the trigger the entire time. Professionals don't like that, because you can accidentally shoot your gun very easily. Alright. Get some more white. I'm just gonna touch up some of these areas which I did the first thing on. And this part right here, I wanted to make this a bit brighter here. There's less of a slope, I guess. And same with this part right here. Okay. And maybe right here. Just to help give it some of that, because there's a bit of, it's got a curvature right there, kind of indents there, and it's got a bit of a peak here, so I'll give it a little extra shading will help with the not the anatomy, the geometry, whatever it's called, geometry of the hat. Maybe you can kind of see that. It's kind of soft right now on the camera. The white looks a little too, it just doesn't really show up that well. That's fine though, as long as all the other parts turn out good. Okay, a little bit of over painting on the hair. So I'm just gonna fix that right now. Okay. Oh, I've overpainted on that. You don't want any of your hat color going over into the hair. That just looks bad. Alright, let's work on the gun now. So this is the Crooksbane highlight. It's a light greenish gray. And I'm just gonna basically do a very thin coat. I'm just gonna block in the shadows. And maybe use my finger to remove some paint. I like to finger paint sometime. So help remove some of that paint on the raised areas. So if I do this whole area right here, and then I just go like this, kind of removes the paint from the raised areas, which is nice. Okay. I can see a little bit of parts where I've missed on the gun, so I'll go back with black and just on the barrel area, just give it a solid, give the border a nice solid coat, and make it sure it's even right. You don't want the border between the gun and the smoke to be, you know, chunky and not smooth. There we go. Alright. Now I'm going to go back with my Menoth or Mora white, and I'm just going to blend in that gray a bit more. Okay. I've got 20 minutes left, but I'm probably going to stop before that because I think she's basically done, except for a little bit of like right around there could be blacked out a bit more. Just some little small details. Alright, I think I'm going to figure out somebody to raid in the next minute or two. So, yeah. Alright. That's a quick and dirty smoke. Okay. What's that? Oh yeah, so this weekend I'll be doing some pop-in streaming. So Saturday, Sunday I'll probably do whenever I feel like it. Maybe in the morning, maybe afternoon, maybe at night. I'll be doing painting up my bases for my my Rain City Hobbies page. So here's the 40mm base. I'm just painting these up, so basically I have a guide to do my Demon World bases I'm making. So yeah. It's really hard to tell. Let's see if I can change the camera a bit and make it a lot easier to see my bases. Okay, I see. Model camera. Alright. Exposure. Too dark. Too bright. It's really hard to tell when it's all pure white. But yeah, let's try a different one. Let's try this one. So this one is basically a rock formation with some like weird like organic looking like tentacle rock. It's gonna have, and then it's got this dead guy, half a guy. You can see where it kind of like it's like ripped in half here, and he's just tried to crawl up, and he's failed. Or is this right here? This one's like a rock with a mouth popping out of it and a tongue popping out and a whole bunch of little skulls. So I'll be painting up these guys. I've got some 30s and 40s and maybe even some 25s. Okay, I can't see my chat right now. Give me a second. Whatever really catches my fancy. And yeah, I don't know. Because these bases have like a whole bunch of stuff going on. They're like, it's rocks. It's got organic bits. It's got tiny little skulls everywhere. So it's really fun to make these ones. So, and they're quite different from all my other bases, right? Because my current bases don't have like any skulls on them at all, really. So this one's a very scully base style. It'll look much better once you actually have some paint on these things. When it's pure white, it's hard to see. Alright, have we found a guy to raid? Hey, cool. Oh, thanks, Ryan. 741007. Thanks. Alright, we're going to be raiding somebody, so...
Kalini.
We're going to be raiding Kalini, so... Hope you guys enjoy that. What is he painting?
Something for a Depticon.
Ooh, a Depticon piece, so... Get some high quality painting there, hopefully. We'll find out. Alright. Take care and have a good night. Alright. Enjoy the rest of your night. Okay, I'm gonna close this. Let's go down 3 or 4 followers. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so block you. Feels like it's Friday. It's not though, is it?